LULAC is the largest and oldest Hispanic organization in the U.S. According to their website, their goal is to advance the economic condition, educational attainment, political influence of Hispanic Americans through community-based programs. The organization involves and serves all Hispanic groups. Although this is the case now, LULAC at its founding was more restricted in relation to who they allowed into the organization and which groups they were going to help. During its first constitutional convention in May 1929, it was decided that women were allowed to be honorary members instead of official members, and that official members had to be American citizens. The organization was made up of mostly middle-class Mexican Americans, such as politicians, lawyers, and businessmen. However, although their constitution had an obvious white assimilist view, it provided a good foundation for a new progressive and realistic organization that would later prove to benefit all Hispanic groups. The build-up to LULAC's founding in February 1929 was very hectic. The idea for LULAC first originated from the Harlingen Convention, which was held in 1927 in a Texas high school. The convention was held in order to discuss discrimination against Mexicans as well as to try to unite the main Hispanic organizations at the time, which were the Order Sons of America and Order Knights of America. However, due to disagreements between working class and middle class members of both groups, a new group was formed, LULAC, which will later become LULAC. Both the Order Knights of America and Order Sons of America wanted to focus on labor issues faced by working class Mexican American immigrants, such as working conditions and wages. LULAC, however, had a more post-World War I view and focused on the shift from working class ideology to middle class ideology by turning their attention to Mexican American citizens. By doing this, the citizens could implement changes through voting and other social means. This idea would be beneficial to both the American candidates who looked to appeal to the Mexican American populations, as well as the families of the Mexican American citizens. After 8 years of debating, both groups finally gave in, and in February 1929, the League of Latin American Citizens was born. The organization's constitution was heavily influenced by the racist political agenda that the U.S. had at the time. At the start of the Great Depression, many Mexicans returned to Mexico in the repatriation movement of the 1930s. Most Mexicans in the U.S. were left without jobs as companies were pressured into not hiring minorities in order to leave the remaining jobs for the majority white population. Therefore, in order to make LULAC an active and progressive organization, they had to appeal to the national government by assimilating into American, or more appropriately, white culture. Article 2 of the Constitution, which states the aims and purposes of the organization, has a very patriotic and masculine tone. The first aim talks about developing, within the members of our race, the best, purest, and most perfect type of a true and loyal citizen. This aim reflects their desire for Mexicans to be considered white in the U.S. Census because of their Spanish ancestry. Aim 4 declares English as the group's official language. LULAC organizers believed learning the language can be used as a tool for defense, but took speaking Spanish for granted. Another flaw in the Constitution was the failure to recognize women as members of the group, which was backed up by a very masculine constitution. Women were considered members of the family in Aim 16. By doing this, the founders undermined their plan to empower La Raza and overlooked the potential that female members can add to the group. Although LULAC had a controversial start, it gained praise and grew rapidly in the south of Texas. By 1930, membership totaled 2,000 and there were 19 councils around South Texas. Farmers and ranchers were also a part of the group, as well as the business owners and skilled professionals. Mexican women welcomed the organization and put together a fundraiser in order to build funds for Raza children in November of 1929. Although the group received criticism from a few Mexican citizens and white politicians, overall it was praised by many scholars of the field at the time. Paulus Taylor, a liberal scholar, stated that an organized group of persons of Mexican ancestry has at last faced the situation with a combination of realism and idealism is a fact of great potential significance. As a former member of LULAC during high school, I have witnessed firsthand the progress of the organization and the resources/help it provides to Hispanics of many different backgrounds. The organization has kept its early promise of later benefiting all Mexican people in addition to people from other Latin American countries such as Honduras and El Salvador. Although it did have a white assimilist view, I believe the Constitution was instrumental in developing LULAC to what it is today. It provided the foundation for a progressive activist group with the intention to grow both in numbers and influence.